A very good evening and welcome to LFS for tonight's Carabao Cup Live as the second legs of the semi-finals of this season's competition start tonight and end tomorrow night, where we will see our two finalists confirmed. Newcastle take a 2-goal lead into tonight's second leg against Arsenal after that 2-0 victory at the Emirates a few weeks ago. Tomorrow night, the holders Liverpool will look to take on a 1-goal deficit against Tottenham as they look to progress to their second successive final and their third final in 4 seasons. Liverpool, we will see if they can do that tomorrow night. But tonight, it's all about these two, Newcastle and Arsenal. A Newcastle side haven't won a trophy in 70 years. They were in a Wembley final in this competition just 2 seasons ago. They would love to get back there and would love to make it a different result than it was that day against Manchester United. This is an Arsenal side who, well, their last trophy was actually during the COVID season when they won the FA Cup, the first trophy and the only big major trophy under Mikel Arteta. They would love to get a Carabao Cup semi-final, a chance they didn't get 2 years ago when Liverpool beat them in the 2022 Carabao Cup semi-finals. Wembley awaits one of these two teams tonight. Will it be the black and white of Newcastle or the red and white of Arsenal? Arsenal have a 2-goal lead a 2-goal deficit to overcome. Newcastle with that 2-goal lead, but they will know it only takes a blink of an eye for that 2-goal lead to dissipate, especially against such a good side like Arsenal, who are in great form at the moment. Let's have a look at the two teams then for this evening's game, and a bit of confusion over what system Newcastle will actually be playing tonight. Eddie Howe kept his lips firmly sealed before the game, not knowing whether it was a back 4 or a back 3. We've gone for a back 3/back 5 with Martin Dubravka in goal. A back 5 of Kieran Trippier, Fabian Schär, Sven Botman, Dan Burn and Lewis Hall as the defenders. Bruno Guimaraes, the captain, is alongside Sandro Tonali in that midfield too, with a front 3 of Jacob Murphy off the right, Anthony Gordon off the left, and Alexander Isak, in-form striker for Newcastle, leading the line. On the bench, Pope, Targett, Kraft, Livramento, Willock, Longstaff, Miley, Wilson and Osula. For the Gunners, coming off that 5-1 victory against Manchester City on Sunday, they start unchanged from that game. David Araya starts in goal, a back 4 of Urian Timber, William Saliba, Gabriel and Miles Lewis-Skelly. A midfield 3 of Thomas Partey, Declan Rice and captain Martin Odegaard, with a front 3 of Gabriel Martinelli off the right, Leandro Trossard off the left and Kai Havertz leading the line for the Gunners. On the bench, Setford, Calafiori, Tierney, Zinchenko, Kivior, Jorginho, Sterling, Marino and Nwaneri. Arsenal won a Wembley final, but so do Newcastle, who will get their place in this season's final, which takes place in about 5 weeks' time. Kick-off at St James's Park in this Carabao Cup semi-final second leg is next. A very good evening and welcome to this Carabao Cup Live with me, Kevin Ferris, tonight as we get looking ahead to two very good sides at this moment in time. Two sides who are desperate for trophy success, desperate for another final for their fans to get up for. A trip to Wembley would be a dream, but only one can find their place in the final. Will it be Newcastle or will it be Arsenal? We will find out tonight when one of these two teams will be eliminated and one will be heading under that Wembley arch, and as I said, about 5.5 weeks' time. 70 years since Newcastle won a trophy, 5 years since Arsenal won a trophy. Newcastle fans, a vast majority of them inside this stadium tonight, don't know what it feels like for their team to win a trophy. They might just be a little bit closer coming into this one tonight, but they have still a big 90 minutes ahead of them. A reminder tonight that this game will run to a finish. 90 minutes If it is level after 90 minutes, that means level on aggregate after 90 minutes. We will be going to a extra time, 15-minute halves, an extra time, and then a possible penalty shootout. It'll be the first time in the competition that the extra time is used this season. All the previous rounds have gone straight to penalty shootout. But if we're level on aggregate after 90 minutes, extra time and penalties will be used. An early free kick here for Arsenal down this right-hand side. Martinelli was just slightly tugged there by Anthony Gordon. Will be an early free kick for Arsenal. As the crowd boo this Arsenal set piece. Declan Rice is over it. Arsenal haven't scored in the last 2 appearances here at St James's Park. They would love an early goal. Rice with the ball into the box. Flecked on, but too far behind. It might be a deflection. It does go behind of a Newcastle head, this time of Isak, and it will be an early corner for the Gunners. An early chance here from Arsenal. 12 corners scored in all competitions this season. Newcastle have conceded just once from a corner this campaign in all competitions. Declan Rice, who took the free kick, will take the corner. Goes short. Now Martinelli trying to squeeze it through, but well blocked by Guimaraes. And now Newcastle want a break here. Down the left-hand side. Martinelli on the cover. And it's going to be a free kick given away by Gabriel Martinelli. It's a good break down the left-hand side that time. Might have been Jacob Murphy that was making that run from Newcastle. He's not going to get a yellow card, Martinelli. Some of the Newcastle players advocating for a card, but it's just going to be a free kick. It was Jacob Murphy bursting down that left-hand side, just holding Gabriel away from him at arm's length, Gabriel Martinelli. And he just ends up going down under a little push. It is a foul. Electric start. The third set piece of the game. The first for the home side. Lewis Hall and Anthony Gordon over it. Chance for Newcastle to whip the ball in early here. The whistle from Simon Hooper is heard. Hall plays it short. Tonali with a low delivery. Headed away by Rice. Edge of the box. Played through here. Guimaraes. Back to Trippier. Swung in, but far too deep that time by Fabian Schär. And there was a foul anyway against an Arsenal man in the box there. Tough start for the referee here. A couple of little niggly challenges going in. As I said, our referee Simon Hooper. VAR in action tonight. Our VAR is John Brooks. He'll be overseeing the decisions from the booth. As here's a chance for Isak in behind. Lovely move by Newcastle. Oh, what a goal. That is sensational from Alexander Isak. He loves a goal against Arsenal. And he's got another one this season. An incredible finish. Beautiful counter-attack by Newcastle United. And inside 4 minutes, Arsenal's mountain has just got even bigger for them to climb. Newcastle United 1, Arsenal 0, Newcastle 3-0 up on aggregates. Wow, what a start. It's a long kick from David Raya. It's a really good press by Newcastle to win it back in the middle of party. And the ball in behind. Is Isak offside is the check. I said VAR would be involved. We're going to have a look at this. Is he onside? It's a fabulous goal. Wonderful finish from that narrow angle on the right hand side. Nice break down the right. Takes a touch. Takes it slightly infield and then absolutely thrashes it into that far corner. Absolute peach of a finish. Well, of course, remember, in this competition, any VAR decision will be broadcast by the referee. So if we do get an overturn in the result, the scoreline here, Is he offside? Well, that looks tight. It's so tight. It's Gabriel who's the last man for Arsenal, alongside Saliba, but I think Gabriel's just a slight bit behind. And I don't know whether Isak is on or off here. It is anybody's guess, but VAR have to get it right because this is so huge so early in this game. Simon Hooper has the ball under his left arm, waiting on the decision from John Brooks before Simon Hooper broadcasts this decision to St James's Park. They have a chance to maybe celebrate twice if this is given. But VAR in action at the moment. The referee will broadcast the decision. No goal. So after all that, Alexander Isak's goal does not stand. The referee announcing it to the stadium. And Simon Hooper, I don't think it was the most concise way of delivering that message, but he did deliver it, and we're back to 0-0. A respite for Arsenal, a bit of a reprieve for the visitors. But that will certainly have Arsenal a bit more cautious about that counter-attack now, as Isak tried to close it down on Saliba there. And that's going to be a free kick to Arsenal, which the home fans are not happy with. Trippier there giving away that foul. Certainly got off to a crazy start. 7 minutes in. We were stopped for about 3 minutes waiting on that VAR decision on that Alexander Isak goal that was eventually given as offside. It was so tight on that counter-attack, but the referees had a really hard game to get to referee in these first 7 minutes. A lot of free kicks, a lot of energy, a lot of physicality, a lot of emotions in these early moments. This crowd desperate to help their side, as Arsenal will take this free kick. Odegaard will take it far on this left-hand side. Newcastle have set their line very, very high. They go short on it. Do Arsenal. Rice down the left flank. Trossard trying to chip it into the box. There might have been a bit of a deflection, and it was actually kept from going behind. It will be a throw-in to Arsenal. Trippier just about kept that from going behind for a corner. Will be an Arsenal throw on the left side. Now it's Lewis Skelly to take the throw. Loops it, but loops it straight out of play. Goal kick. Certainly had no chance to really settle into the game. The first 8 minutes have been rapturous. Really crazy start to the semi-final. Just shows how much it means to both of these football teams. Winning a semi-final, getting to a final. Arsenal's last final was that final they won at Wembley in the FA Cup back in 2020. Newcastle's last final, of course, was at Wembley 2 years ago, 2023, when they faced Manchester United in the Carabao Cup final. Lost 2-0 in that final, did Newcastle. Another free kick given here. Partey, the one that deemed to have committed the foul on Anthony Gordon. Just kind of shoulder barge Gordon to the ground. Yeah, it is a bit cynical from Thomas Partey. Really doesn't make any attempt to challenge for the ball and really just takes the man out. Look at that, 6 free kicks already in this game so far, and we had a 2 or 3 minute stoppage for a VAR check as well. It's Lewis Hall over this free kick, left-footed, whipping delivery, bouncing on the edge as Odegaard hooks it away from danger. And Sven Botman's just going to recycle it back to Martin Dubravka. Trippier It does look like Newcastle are playing somewhat of a back 3/back 5 at this moment, with Trippier and Hall playing a bit higher up. But we see it more often. Trippier is actually staying a bit further back at times when he's not in possession, and Lewis Hall is making that further break into the midfield at times. When they need it, Lewis Hall will just kind of cover over in that left side and drop into a back 5. So it's quite a fluid defensive system from Newcastle. Eddie Howe kept his lips quite sealed and wouldn't really kind of initiate whether it was a back 4 or a back 5 before the game. And the hints from the personnel in the team, you would probably err on the side of more a back 5, but Lewis Hall has played midfield before and can play in a midfield position, so a back 4 is also a plausible scenario for Newcastle. As Arsenal have another free kick here inside their own half. Gabriel is ready to take. He will fizz it forward to the left flank. Flicked on by Havertz, cleared away by Tonali, and now Isak trying to run him behind, but Raya's on the scene. Oh, doesn't get a good kick there. Saliba lets it bounce. Timber's on the scene. They're all over the place at the minute here, Arsenal. As Timber gets out of jail, and Anthony Gordon clipped him there. Arsenal look a bit nervous in these moments when Newcastle apply the press. Rice almost caught on the ball again. Saliba just about keeps it in play. Newcastle's press is absolutely all over Arsenal. The visitors look really rattled by this early, strong, intense press from the home side. Not able to deal with it at the moment. Hall finds Isak, drops a bit deeper. Lovely flick by Tonali, but couldn't squeeze it through to Guimaraes as Burns' challenge came crashing in on his opponent there. Havertz. Back to Lewis Skelly. And again to Gabriel. Back to Raya. Into Ødegaard. Almost caught in possession again. It's every time Arsenal want to play it into that defensive midfield role, Newcastle are just squeezing the press so intently. It's Partey. Again, Tonali getting in the mix. Just running everywhere at the moment, Newcastle. They're not allowing Arsenal to breathe. The one-touch football will get Arsenal out of that little sticky zone. Partey out to the right-hand side. Here's Trossard. Trossard looking for an option. Low cross, well defended there by Botman. Byrne got a bit loose. Trossard nicks it away again. Partey. Edge of the box. Round about the edge of the box here, Partey. Plays it across to Lewis Skelly. Chips one into the box, and the flick by Botman straight back into Dubravka's hands to settle Newcastle defensively there. First real glimpse of seeing Arsenal breaking away from that Newcastle press. Of course, tonight, it's all about Arsenal. It's all kind of the pressure on Arsenal, really. They're 2-0 down, away from home, a tough atmosphere. I mean, a great way to back up your result from the weekend is to come here and get a place in the Carabao Cup final. It'd be some way to have a great start to this month. Raya tiptoeing in his own box. Ødegaard dropping a bit deeper to receive the ball. As Gabriel tries to squeeze it towards Havertz, but given away again. Here's Guimaraes, and now Anthony Gordon. Gordon in the box. Crowded out by Sia Red there as Ødegaard steps away with the ball. Into the middle for Timber. Trying to find Havertz. The ball took a little bit of a deflection. And again, good step in by Botman to settle Newcastle on the ball again. Trippier with the ball out wide. Plays it infield now to Guimaraes in space. Out to Murphy on the right. Looking to whip it around the back. Hall tried to keep it in play, but put it behind for a goal kick. A lot of energy in these early moments. Eddie Howe said before the game, he was asked what would the approach for Newcastle be tonight. coming into this one. Would it be try and defend that 2-goal lead, or will it be try and go out and attack Arsenal? And Eddie Howe basically said, we'll play the way we play, we'll not change just because of the circumstances coming into the game. We don't know how to play any other way. And I think that's kind of the right approach, because you come into a game with a negative kind of feeling. Oh, Dubravka! Oh, he just about got that away. So Arsenal applying the press there. But Eddie Howe kind of admitted that they don't know what other way to play. And coming into it, if you come with a negative approach to a game where you're leading 2-0, you're coming with a loser's mentality in a sense. And, you know, a 2-goal lead is the most cliched thing in football. Kind of the most dangerous scoreline is a 2-0 lead in football, because it can diminish in a split second. The opponent gets a goal back early in a game, the energy's up, the momentum's with the team that's 2-1 down, and the game, kind of the mentality of the game instantly changes in the side that's in the deficit's favour, in a sense, despite the team leading, still having that advantage. And I think, you know, Newcastle come into this one, I think Alexander Isak said it in an interview before the game as well, they have to come in with the mentality of it, the game still being 0-0. You know, come in with the mentality, yes, they may have a 2-goal lead from the first leg, but it's still 0-0. And kind of have that desire, if it was 0-0 overall, to have that desire to go out there and try and win the game from that approach and not take anything for granted. And I think, you know, when it comes to a semi-final, you can't take anything for granted. And how important this is for this football club here in the North East. We've been starved of trophy success for many decades. Getting to a Carabao Cup final, a trip to Wembley, is something they will absolutely relish. So Arsenal have it here with Odegaard. Both sides battling for the possession early on here. Rice. Now Lewis Skelly. And around the box, Lewis Skelly squeezes through. Finds it to Trossard. Can't find a shooting opportunity. Trossard pressed away from the Newcastle 18-yard box. The ball out wide now with Timber. Trossard again. Squeezes it through. Martin Odegaard here. Flicks it forward. Nice 1-2. And Odegaard's shot well charged down by Sven Botman. Better from Arsenal though. Much more intricate football in and around the box. Taking their time. Playing their game. Not rushing things. Partey. Squeezes it through. Lovely flick on. Here Martinelli brought down the follow-up. Odegaard misses. What a chance. Gabriel Martinelli. Just see the moment again, if I could get the replay. See it again. It's nice playing to Partey, and he just squeezes it through the spine of this Newcastle defence. Flick on by Trossard to Martinelli in the D. Brought down. The referee plays advantage. The kind of challenge from Byrne actually takes it into the path of Odegaard. And as it curls away, Odegaard has that shot. And it just goes directly wide of the goal. Such a good opportunity for the Arsenal captain. And he hits it directly wide. And that's a nice ball by Gordon. And here's Alexander Isak. Oh, hits the woodwork. The follow-up is in by Jacob Murphy. This game has been absolutely electric so far. And surely this one isn't going to be ruled out. Arsenal come close at one end. Newcastle hit the woodwork at the other. And the rebound is found into the back of the net by Jacob Murphy. And Newcastle do have their 1-goal lead and a 3-goal advantage on aggregates. Just as before, it is again. Arsenal have such a mountain to climb. It is almost Everest-like. It's from Dubravka's long kick from the goal kick. The flick on by Isak is fabulous. Finds Gordon, who returns the favour, feeds it in behind. Isak has the goal at his mercy. Hits the left upright. It bounces back out fortuitously into the path of Murphy, who controls it deftly with that right foot. And it just rolls it across to an empty net where David Raya is nowhere to be seen. And Newcastle do take the lead on the night and lead by 3-0 on aggregates. Is it destiny for Newcastle to be heading back to Wembley and back to another Carabao Cup final under Eddie Howe? And Jacob Murphy with his 5th goal of the season has Newcastle leading on the Knights, and their lead on aggregate now 3 goals of a difference. And you talk about fine margins in football. Martinelli's cross. Arsenal trying to bounce right back here. Lewis Skelly into the box. Rolls it back. Partey tries to flick it on. Odegaard closed down again. And Newcastle are on the move again. Here comes Tonali. That counter-attack is ever so threatening to Arsenal. And now rolls it through. Here's Gordon in the box. Flicks it back. Couldn't keep the control as Saliba just gets it away. This game's been electric so far. As I say, fine margins. Newcastle take the lead less than a minute after Martin Odegaard missed his chance inside the 18-yard box. That's the difference. That's how close it is sometimes. Odegaard will hit from the edge and drags it wide again. That's another chance gone a begging for the Arsenal captain. This time from further out, but on his stronger left foot this time. And he misses the target for the 2nd time tonight in a matter of minutes. I mean, we look at that offside from Alexander Isak. It's millimetres of a difference. It's offside, but it is ever so tight. And then 15-20 minutes later, they do find the breakthrough. Lovely combination. It's sensational combination football. You know, sometimes one-touch football, it's just indefensible at times. Isak and Gordon, it's almost instinctive. They know where each other is. And it's just fabulous give-and-go football. The Arsenal might have thought they were getting away with it when they hit the post, the shot from Isak, but it fell right into the path of Murphy. Wasn't being marked, wasn't being tracked, and all he had to do was control it, and it would roll into an empty net. No taking away from Jacob Murphy. It came at him with some pace, and he controlled it well. Here come Arsenal. No! Odegaard. I think it's Trossard that has the shot saved by Dubravka. This game is unbelievable. See it again here. Newcastle have the ball, given away by Hall. Nice ball by Odegaard, plays it into Havertz, and Havertz gets it to the edge of the 6-yard box. And it's Trossard who swipes it with his right, goes through the legs of Fabian Schär, and it's a good save by Martin Dubravka to put it wide. Honestly, this could be anything tonight. Corner for Arsenal. Left-hand side, Odegaard to deliver. Flicked on. And flicked behind at the near post by Trippier, for another Arsenal corner. This game's end-to-end, non-stop action. We're already halfway through the first half so far. It's been absolutely sensational. Another Arsenal corner here on this right-hand side. Odegaard to deliver again. Very narrow. And headed up and away by another Newcastle defender, and this time Trippier for the 2nd successive time puts it out for another Arsenal corner. Yeah, it's trying to sneak it in that near post again, Arsenal. Both corners trying to sneak it in round the near post, and Trippier did well, heading it both times to stave off that Arsenal threat from that set piece. Dubravka just gets back to his feet. Might hurt himself in that last corner. Right hand side. Odegaard for the 3rd successive corner. Bouncing around the box. Oh, flicked and cleared away by Newcastle. And now Gordon's just given away a free kick there against Lewis Skelly. There's a foul. This game is absolutely nuts. See it again, the corner. Again, Trippier heads it down. There was a slight check of handball there against Trippier, but that was cleared by VAR. And then he boots it clear And then obviously Lewis Skelly wins the free kick off Anthony Gordon. And Arsenal get a free kick. 25 minutes gone. Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. Newcastle leading 3-0 on aggregates. It looks like it's, when you think about it, in normal circumstances, the game should be done and dusted. But, you know, you never know how any game can pan out, especially a semi-final when everything has to be on the line. It's now or never. It's Ødegaard goes deep, back post, flicked across, but flicked down and behind for a goal kick. Well, that's not a good sign. Dubravka's gone down again. Helped back to his feet by the referee, but it looks like Nick Pope is one to watch on the sidelines. The Newcastle substitute goalkeeper. Dubravka doesn't look in a good way at the minute. I mean, he's certain that he's okay to continue, but we'll see how long he lasts, Martin Dubravka. I mean, the man that's on the bench that could possibly replace him, Nick Pope, is certainly no amateur. So the long kick goes cleanly for Dubravka. Headed down by Isak, but straight back to Arsenal possession. Nelly. Ødegaard with a flick on. First head was a Newcastle head. The ball turned in a bit of head tennis here for a second. Neither side bringing it down. Havertz flicks it on, and Cher will just flick it back to Martin Dubravka. Well, Newcastle are aiming to reach the League Cup final for only the third time in their history. They've progressed from both of their semi-final ties previously, 1975-76 season, of course that 22-23 season, and they've won both of their previous semi-final home legs. Of course, they don't need to win tonight, as long as they don't lose by 2 goals. They will be heading to Wembley. Even if they lose by 2 goals, obviously, it will only go to extra time. If they lose by 3 goals or more, obviously they will be knocked out inside 90 minutes. But that's a long way off at this minute in time. Martinelli trying to squeeze it into the box. Well blocked by Lewis Hall there, who has dropped back in. I said it's kind of what you see from Newcastle. Eddie Howe clearly didn't want to commit to a back 4 or back 5, because basically they're just going to be fluid throughout the game. So Lewis Hall drops in when Arsenal are on the attack and when Arsenal are in possession of the ball, but when Newcastle have the ball, he kind of strides forward into a more midfield role. There's the deep cross by Arsenal, flicked away by Trippier, brought down by Lewis Skelly. Now Rice. Back around the corner for Saliba, who's instantly pressed by Gordon, but a nice step over there by Saliba. Finding Ødegaard. Out to the right is Martinelli. Back infield to Timber. Now Partey. Arsenal trying to work their way around this Newcastle defence. Timber overhits that pass to Martinelli, and that one will go out for a Newcastle throw. Well, quite a niche stat. Before this season, there were 34 cases of a team losing the first leg of a League Cup semi-final at home. Of course, Arsenal lost 2-0 against Newcastle. But only 2 of those 31 occasions have ever progressed to the final in this competition. The Gunners were the last team to do that when they were 2-0 down from the first leg against Tottenham back in 1986-87. They're going to have to replicate that, and even more so now with the fact that they're 3-0 down on aggregate, but 2-0 down from the first leg at home. A niche stat, but it's happened 31 times in the history of this competition, which is quite a lot considering it was only in the semi-final case of it. But only twice in 31 times where the home team from the first leg that were losing 2-0 have ever gone to the final, and Arsenal were the last to do that. And so far, they're really struggling to find any threat, as Newcastle have that such blistering threat on the counter. As Gabriel there winning the free kick, and Trippier got a bit involved there. Quickly off the scene, Kieran Trippier. Trying to wind up Gabriel. See it again. Gabriel sees Jacob Murphy coming down the side. He does really well at kind of push Murphy away. And as he tries to hold it up, Trippier gets involved and shoves him over. And then the foul given. And Trippier just leaves a hand in. And Gabriel, prone to reacting, did react, but referee just let it run. Nice takedown by Havertz there. An awful pass though. Given straight back to Lewis Hall. He will try and send Anthony Gordon in a run on behind as Raya's committed. Oof. Had to do well there, David Raya. He was in no man's land if he had missed that ball. As Havertz with a flick. Martinelli trying to win the header, but no one's going to really beat Sven Botman aerially, really. And that goes out for an Arsenal throw. Taken quickly by Havertz. Timber, infield to Partey. Slides it through for Ødegaard, trying to roll it on to Martinelli, but again Guimaraes in the way to step and run away with the ball. Gordon just about keeps it in. Lovely touch with the outside of his right foot. Trying to dribble his way through a few, but lovely turn by Timber. Finds Trossard. Now Rice. In the middle here for Arsenal, Declan Rice. Plays it on to his captain Ødegaard. Out wide on the right is Martinelli. Driving in field. Gabriel Martinelli tries to sneak a shot. Well, closed down by Lewis Hall and cleared away by Anthony Gordon. Gabriel with a bit of a stumble. But Isak's misplaced pass. Neither side want to keep possession at the moment. Partey in Newcastle's half here. Ødegaard. No doubting Newcastle are certainly having to do a bit more defending at the moment. That's very well defended by Sven Botman against Havertz. Arsenal having more of the ball, certainly. 75% possession overall for Arsenal in this game so far. But more shots than their hosts, but quite crucially, Newcastle are the team that lead on the night, which just extenuates their lead overall in the two legs. Havertz again trying to bring it down deftly, but Newcastle are so tight that they're winning the ball. That's a loose pass in the middle. Lewis Skelly will pick it up for Arsenal on this left side. Infield to Partey. I think Arsenal do need a goal before half time. Let's get themselves back to square one, really, going into the next half of football. As the ball played across into the box. Rice couldn't win the header. Trippier flicks it away and Murphy tries to send it long. Saliba tussling with Isak, gets spun. Isak brings it down. Plays it into Gordon's path, carries him a bit wide. But Anthony Gordon will still have space to roam down this left side. Gordon cuts on to his right. Plays it on to Tonali. Gordon went down off the ball, but the referee played advantage. Here's Sandro Tonali. Nice 1-2 touch football. Guimaraes trying to do a bit of keepy-uppies there. Getting a bit audacious. The Newcastle captain. Will be a Newcastle throw-in on this left side. Gordon just shoved over there by Martin Ødegaard. Will be a free kick to Newcastle. Another free kick for Newcastle to take. Less than 10 minutes of the first half to go. Arsenal with a lot of work to do. Newcastle firmly in the box seat at the moment. Long way to go though. Hall, left-footed delivery, deep into the box, bouncing down, falls to have a shot by Sher, well blocked. Wanted a corner, but deemed to have come off a man in black and white before it had gone behind. And now Arsenal want to counter here. Lewis Skelly through to Havertz. Havertz trying to flick it across, but gets far too much on it. Odegaard with a chance to keep it in, but has no chance there. Sandro Tonali on his case, and a Newcastle will get the throw in this far left-hand side. Might be a bit of a problem here for Gabriel Martinelli, who's gone down, and then might be holding his right hamstring here, which is not a good sign. And he's going to be coming off because Ethan Nwaneri is already getting ready on the sidelines. So that might be a real issue for Arsenal. Not only that they're 1-0 down on the night, 3-0 down in aggregate, but they might be also losing one of their top forwards for the remainder of this game. The last thing Arsenal need is more injuries at this minute, because they do have options off the bench. Looks like Ethan Nwaneri will be the one that will be coming on. He will. And Gabriel Martinelli is coming off. It's really caused a bit of an upset as Mikel Arteta tries to get some sort of command with his team at the minute to figure out what's gone wrong so far in this first half. As Martinelli will now be leaving the field, and the young Ethan Nwaneri, 17 years old, is coming on. Scored against Manchester City, scored that 5th goal against City at the weekend. Has already got 3 goals in the competition this season in his 3 previous appearances in the Carabao Cup. Scored against Preston was his last Carabao Cup goal for Ethan Nwaneri. Scored 2 against Bolton in the early stages of the competition. Has a chance to be Arsenal's hero tonight. Havertz into the box. Heavy first touch. And that's really well marshalled by Sven Botman again, who just holds it enough time for his keeper to come and grab. Martinelli just coming to the bench for Arsenal. At the moment, the cards are firmly stacked against the visitors. Most certainly 3 goals down on aggregate, needing to score 3 goals if they're going to rescue themselves in this game tonight without conceding again is a big task. But nothing's impossible. Was on this day 14 years ago that we saw the biggest comeback ever between these two. It was ever in Premier League history. 4-0 down at half time, and Newcastle ended up getting a 4-4 draw out of that game against Arsenal. If Arsenal score 4 goals without conceding, they will be quite through, firmly through, to the final. Will history repeat itself? We'll see. We will see. Timber down the right hand side. Here's Nwaneri. First real dribble. Gets it into the box. Bit of a deflection. Tonali can head that one clear of danger, and Gordon wants to go on a run. Saliba and Odegaard quick onto that one, but Timber gets his feet in a bit of a muddle there. Puts it out for a Newcastle throw-in. Just seems like the pressure has kind of got to Arsenal in this first half. They've really struggled to stay composed right the way throughout this game. They've actually been dragged into that more kind of frantic, crazy, open end-to-end game in this first half. And Newcastle are just happy because at the moment they're getting joy on the counter-attack, and when it's an end-to-end open game, they're looking the more threatening of the two teams. Here's Nwaneri breaking down the right, takes on his man, gets it to the back post, but far too much pace on that one. We'll see it behind for a Newcastle goal kick, but there is intent there from Arsenal, but it's not the right final pass at the moment. 5 minutes of the first half remains. Newcastle 1 up on the night, 3 up on aggregate. Jacob Murphy's wonderful control inside the 18-yard box into an empty net gave Newcastle the lead on the night after Alexander Isak hit the woodwork and had a goal ruled out for offside. Dubravka will take this goal kick. Long out to the right flank. Bounces over the head of Lewis Skelly, who misjudged that one. Has Gabriel for support. The ball fell down, but again, not able to sustain the possession for the moment, Arsenal, as Newcastle have it back with Dubravka. Forced into a long kick again by Rice, and that ball goes out of play for an Arsenal throw. Lewis Skelly into Partey. Boos rang about there when Partey got on the ball for Arsenal. Interesting. Nwaneri. Ethan Nwaneri trying to take on his opponents again. Lovely flick through to Timber. Has to come back to Odegaard and all the way back round to Gabriel. Rice now. Arsenal have pitched their tent at the moment, at least in the final third of Newcastle, as Trossard tries to go for a bit of a drag back to catch out Trippier. But Newcastle have many bodies in cover. And a bit of an ole coming around the stadium at the moment, which gets Kai Havertz a bit frustrated. And he absolutely clatters Bruno Guimaraes to the ground. Kai Havertz, I think, needs to be settled by his teammates here. And now he's going to get a yellow card for that. I think Kai Havertz feels a bit aggrieved, but I mean, he did shove Bruno Guimaraes to the ground for really no apparent reason. And it is a yellow card. And the crowd respond to that by shouting Bruno, Bruno, Bruno in support of their captain. You could just see it. It's one of those nights where you can see it all boiling over and going mental. You can see it forming into an all-out brawl at some point. It's just bubbling under at the moment. A couple of nasty little challenges, a couple of little kind of one-on-one tussles with a couple of the players in their matchups tonight. And you can just see it. Maybe it will boil over at some point. Has been a bit of a nasty night so far. A lot of crunching challenges. A lot of intent and passion in every single challenge that goes in from both teams, I might add. It's not one-sided. Both sides are fully at this, fully up for it tonight. Long ball again in behind. Gordon felt he was held, and he is, according to the referee. And Saliba is the one that's going to get a yellow card for it, for holding Anthony Gordon there. And it's a long ball. Dan Burn, I think, cleared it. It was left-footed over the top, and Gordon was free on a run. Saliba had committed himself, stepped in a bit too much there, and Gordon was held by William Saliba. That's the second Arsenal player to get booked in as many minutes. First Havertz, and now Saliba. Just seems like Arsenal need to be a bit more composed in this game. Albeit, yes, you're 3 goals down, but you're not going to get back into this game if you try and battle Newcastle and go kind of at them with that aggressive approach. As Lewis Hall's floated a ball, headed away by Gabriel, flicked away by Trossard, but nicked by Tonali. Byrne gets in a bit of a mix. It's going everywhere at the moment, but a fabulous challenge there by, I think it was Dan Byrne that was tracking back. And now Newcastle have it here with Isak, but a bit too laboured on the ball that time. Isak allows Arsenal to recover the ball again. Odegaard. Timber on the move. Down the right side for Nwaneri. Last couple of seconds of the first 45. Ethan Nwaneri into the box. Cuts it across! And Havertz was in the mix, but Newcastle have bodies in the way and Gordon clears. It seems like every time Arsenal get in and around that box, it's the last ball, the last pass before shooting opportunity. Just not going their way at the moment. 5 added minutes at the end of the half after that long VAR check for the eventually disallowed Alexander Isak goal. And then 1 or 2 injury stoppages as well. Lovely flick by Odegaard. Rice. Lovely football by Arsenal, but right up until the final third. And Guimaraes now gets Isak in. Gordon once more. Taking their time, not in a hurry, Newcastle, as Gordon skips away from Rice's challenge, and Rice might have hurt himself as Gordon tried to curl one just wide of the right post. Arsenal look really, at times, they're just a yard off it, and the confidence flowing through Newcastle at the moment. They're breezing past these challenges. Arsenal just really struggling in moments to stay in the game of Newcastle when they have that counter-attack. And that front three of Newcastle are causing massive problems. Massive problems. Trippier. Into the half space there. Botman couldn't keep the ball. Lewis Skelly trying to squeeze it through. Lovely challenge by Trippier. Gets the ball to Tonali, and look at this for a chance for Gordon to run in behind. Anthony Gordon, urged on by the crowd. Anthony Gordon from the narrow angle. Well blocked by Saliba, but it will be a Newcastle corner. Again, it just seems like every time that Newcastle try that ball in behind, Anthony Gordon's got the space on that left side, and he's just being kind of, I don't know whether William Saliba wants to either press him and close him down, or he wants to give him space and have himself a chance at stopping whatever Gordon wants to do when he gets to the box. I think it's just a bit of indecision from William Saliba at the minute. And the space down the right, when Timber commits forward, there's just a gaping hole in the Arsenal defence, which Anthony Gordon is exploiting time and time again. As Trippier delivers this corner, right-footed, curling effort, flicked away by Havertz, still not fully cleared. So Havertz gets a second chance and thumps it long this time. Headed back to Hall by Trippier, and back to Dubravka. It's just about composure now for Newcastle. It's not getting ahead of themselves. It's not about kind of getting a bit too complacent. It's just about staying on their job, stay press, stay compact defensively. And the longer you starve Arsenal of a goal, you know, the more frustrated Arsenal get, the more desperate they get, the more obvious, probably the more kind of attacking they will become, and the more they'll have to commit, and the more space you'll have in behind. So the longer Newcastle stay composed and stay defensively solid, the better it will be for them, because they'll probably have more space on the counter, and Arsenal will be more desperate than ever before. As Trossard can't get across in there. Trippier with another great block. About a minute and a half of the first 45, first half remaining. There's a second ball on the pitch there, which means the referee has to stop and restart with a an uncontested drop ball, which we do. Gabriel. To Saliba. Now back to Timber. Down the right flank comes Odegaard. Now finding Partey, squeezes it through for Odegaard. Now Waneri takes the touch on the outside, and well challenged by Dan Burn to clear it away. Honestly, I have to say, it just seems like every single time Newcastle or Arsenal get into a one-on-one position, Newcastle always get the challenge right. They always get the right kind of defensive challenge, and they're always stopping the opponent in their tracks. Seems like they've got that under wraps at the moment. They've got that under control, and Arsenal struggling to win those one-on-one duels at the minute. It's Timber to take this throw in on the right side, high up on this right side. Less than a couple of seconds to go of the first half, and Arsenal kind of corralled in this area. Tonali tries to clear. Lewis Skelly tries to challenge for a header, but he's got two in the mix with him. And Lewis Skelly does come away with the ball. That's fabulous play. And he wins Arsenal a free kick there. That's really good play by Miles Lewis Skelly. But there's no time to take the free kick, because that is the end of the first half. And what a mental, crazy, rapturous, whatever word you want to say, a sensational first half here at St James's Park. The crowd were up. The fans were absolutely giving it the biftas tonight. And so far, this home crowd are pretty happy with how it's going. They lead on the night, and they lead by 3 goals on aggregate. Newcastle 1 foot in the final, but a big second half to come. Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0 at the break. Newcastle 3-0 up on aggregate. Analysis on the way next. Do stay with us.
Call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine.
Welcome back to Carabao Cup Live for the semi-final second leg at St James's Park, where it's all going Newcastle's way at the moment. They are cruising in this tie, 3 goals to the good. 2-0 up from the first leg and 1-0 up on the night, as them 3-0 up on aggregate over the tie. They are cruising their way to a final, but Arsenal have a big second half ahead of them. If they're going to even take Newcastle to extra time, they need to score 3 unanswered goals to achieve that. And that's a tough task against any opponent, but Newcastle's recent form has left a lot to be desired. We will see what the second half has to offer. Coming tomorrow, another tight semi-final for you tomorrow night, as another North London side look to book their place in the final. Tottenham, last trophy they won was this competition back in 2008. Liverpool, the current holders of the competition, were at Anfield tomorrow night, as Liverpool look to overcome a 1-goal deficit to try and retain their trophy this season. But Spurs are desperate for a final, as are these two teams we watched tonight, and we'll see if they can complete the task. They're halfway there. Can they make it to another Wembley final and a first since 2021, where they lost when Ryan Mason was the manager back then. He's the assistant behind Ange Postecoglou for tomorrow night's game. Right, that's to come. And then the live final, as you can see, broadcast at the bottom of your screen there. Big date. It is one for your calendar. Whoever out of these 4 teams will face each other in the final, it will be a cracker. It will be a blockbuster. Sunday the 16th of March here on LFS. We will have that game live for you. It will be a great day of action, and we always love the Carabao Cup final. It's the kind of opening act of the final months of the season. It's a way to kind of get you excited for the business end of the campaign, and we will see who will lift that trophy, this illustrious trophy, on the 16th of March. Right, let's really recap that first half and delve deep into what we witnessed in that first half, because honestly, from minute 1, it was reckless, it was rapturous, it was all over the place. It was just a kind of mind-boggling first half. It was mental, non-stop action. The crowd were up for it. The kind of atmosphere was just infectious at times, and that's what Newcastle wanted this to be, a night to remember under the lights at St James's Park, a dream night for Newcastle, and so far it's panning out that way. But of course, a big second half to come. But if we to break down that first half as a whole, I don't think there was very much difference between the two sides. You know, you look at the stats on the right-hand side of your screen, a lot of black there, which means they're exactly the same. They're basically level. The only thing that's in Arsenal's favour is, of course, the possession and the corners, and then Newcastle with better XG in that first half. But if we to break it down, overall with the chances, I think Newcastle had better chances when they came forward. Of course, they had a goal ruled out and they hit the post. And, of course, they obviously had the rebound that finished into the back of the net. They've had one or two other chances since then with Anthony Gordon. But then when Arsenal come forward, they're a bit more methodical, a bit more kind of build-up in their play. And I think that's more instinctive, basically, because Newcastle are stepping off them. They are dropping into a back five whenever they're defending Newcastle, and it's more of Arsenal trying to break Newcastle down. Whereas when Newcastle come forward, Arsenal usually give the ball away. It's a quick turnover, it's a fast break, it's a counter-attack. That's where Newcastle are getting their chances. Where Arsenal, it's a bit more settled, it's a bit more calm and in control. But I think both kind of ideas suit Newcastle at the moment, because they've got that counter-attacking threat, and they're quite solid when they're in shape. They're solid defending Arsenal at this moment in time. So, as I said, it's all going Newcastle's way. And look, it's not that Arsenal haven't had chances, because let's not forget, Martin Odegaard had a glorious chance minutes before Newcastle led. Really good chance in the box. He has the shot. It takes a nick off the post and goes wide. But if that had went in, Arsenal took a one-goal lead on the night, they would have been back in the game. It would have been a completely different layout. But less than a minute later, up the other end, lovely 1-2 combination between Isak and Gordon. Fabulous play. Again, winning those aerial battles, winning the first and second balls is crucial in a game like this, especially when you've got aerial threat. And when they do, nice combination between Isak and Gordon. Gordon plays it back to Isak. Isak hits the post, and then it rebounds out. Raya committed, rebounds out into the path of Jacob Murphy, who has an empty net to roll the ball into and give Newcastle the lead. So, you know, fabulous combination, but it all comes in those fine margins. Arsenal hit the post at one end, and less than a minute later, Newcastle have the ball into the back of the net, and they're ahead. Now, of course, Newcastle had the ball in the back of the net much earlier than that, after just 3 minutes, when Alexander Isak shot into the top left corner. An absolute peach of a goal, but he was just offside. But that is the three best chances of that at half. The disallowed goal from Isak, the goal from Jacob Murphy, and obviously Martin Odegaard hitting the post. But there's a couple of other chances in there, but I think they're the highlights, they're the headline makers, they're the ones where you think those should be goals, those should be big chances taken. And you think, if Arsenal had taken the lead, how different would this game have been at half-time? Now, that's all wishful thinking, and it's irrelevant to think about that now, because Arsenal have themselves in a situation where they've been behind in the game for over, 25 minutes now, and they haven't found a way back. Now, they won't panic. They will know there's a whole second half to come and anything can happen. But if you were Newcastle, you would be calm, you would be composed, you wouldn't get ahead of yourself. Yes, you're 3-0 up on aggregate, maybe a bit boisterous about it. But I think Eddie Howe will say to his team at half-time, listen, it's not over till it's over. Let's just relax. Let's keep doing our job and let's get this over the line. And I think, you know, the next goal has to be Arsenal's, because if Newcastle get a second on the night, at 4-0 in aggregate, that really is beyond any team to come from 4-0 down in any game of football. And it's very rare that any team comes from 3-0 down in aggregate to get anything even to extra time. So it's slim chances, but nothing's impossible in knockout football. And at this moment in time, it will be Arsenal that will be knocked out. Their last semi-final appearance, they were knocked out by the eventual winners, Newcastle, 3-0 up, and looking in a really great chance to getting into a second Carabao Cup final in 3 seasons. The second half is on the way very shortly. Do stay with us.
Call me a god. weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine.
Welcome back to Carabao Cup Live for the second leg of the semi-final here at St James's Park this evening. As I mentioned a bit earlier on, don't forget the second leg of the other semi-final between Liverpool, the holders, and Tottenham is tomorrow, 8 o'clock, Thursday night, 8 o'clock. Here on LFS, Spurs have a one-goal lead heading into that one at Anfield, and another rapturous atmosphere will be in another northern team tomorrow night as the record holders Liverpool. They've won it 10 times this competition, and they want to get into another final, and their first final under Arne Slot. We will see if they can do that coming from 1-0 down tomorrow evening. And then, as I mentioned, the winners of both semi-finals will meet in the 2025 live final Sunday the 16th of March here on LFS. We will have all the action, all the build-up, all the excitement to that day to come. It will be an incredible weekend to come, and as you can see there, the winners of last year, Liverpool, that incredible win in the final against Chelsea when Jurgen Klopp's kids won the trophy for them. A lot of unrecognisable faces because a lot of kids involved for Liverpool last year in the final win. But that man, Virgil van Dijk, the Liverpool captain, scoring the winning goal. That was last year's final. This year's final is a bit later than usual. It's usually in February that the final is, but a couple of weeks later this year, Sunday the 16th of March. A date for your diary indeed. Right, well, really, what are we looking forward to in the second half? Let's just really break it down, because about 2 minutes before the second half gets underway, the next goal needs to be Arsenal's. No question about that. There is, if it goes to 2-0 to Newcastle on the night, it's done. Newcastle are going to the final. But if Arsenal get an early equaliser the second half on the night, they could conjure up a comeback. But it is as slim as anything at this minute in time. But Arsenal need that next goal, otherwise they're dead and buried for certain. But again, if we really dig deep, the game has been even. Arsenal have had chances. Newcastle have had chances. The difference is at this minute in time, like the first leg really, Arsenal haven't taken their chances, haven't been clinical, and they've also lost one of their attackers, of course, in Gabriel Martinelli. Another body blow for Arsenal on that right-hand side, because, of course, Bukayo Saka, their talismanic figure, is also still out injured, along with Gabriel Jesus, another one of their forwards, out injured at the moment. They've been a couple of big injuries to Arsenal, but they have all the siege mentality they're going to need. 3-0 down on aggregate, and have a big second half ahead of them. And as I mentioned, 14 years ago to the day, here at St James's Park, from 4-0 down, Newcastle came back to draw 4-4 against Arsenal. Could Arsenal return the favour 14 years later? We will find out. The second half is on the way in just a moment.
Call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine.
Welcome back to Carabao Cup Live. The second half is on the way as the players come back out of the tunnel. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. We've recently hit 25,000 subscribers and we can't thank you enough for that. It's great to have you with us for this one tonight to see who will be the first team to book their place in this year's Carabao Cup final. At the moment, it's all going Newcastle's way, but another 45 minutes at least here in the northeast to see if Arsenal can conjure up what would be a remarkable comeback if the Gunners were able to do it. They've got a mountain to climb, but there's only one way out of this, and that is to try and climb that mountain in this next 45 minutes. Newcastle kicking from left to right in the second half. Arsenal from right to left, and we get back underway. An Arsenal side who come into this one having not scored here in their last two meetings when they've came here. 1-0 defeats on both occasions. They're 1-0 down at the moment. The last time they scored against Newcastle was when they beat them 4-1 in the fixture at the Emirates last season in February of last year. A 4-1 win tonight would see them clearly through to the Carabao Cup final inside 90 minutes. A long way to go until that's even a conversation. There's Gordon there, blocked off by Partey. Arsenal will win the throw. They need an early goal in the second half, Arsenal. That's a must. They know that. They won't be kidding anyone in thinking about that. They need an early goal. And they want to get it as quickly as possible. Rice works it round the corner to Gabriel. Into Trossard. A lot of pass and move football from Arsenal. It's Trossard taken out there by Bruno Guimaraes. And that will be an early yellow card for the Newcastle captain. I did say there was a lot of needle in that first half. The desperation of both teams trying to battle for a place in a final. Going to see those more nasty, more crunch, more kind of dangerous challenges, to want of a better phrase. Passionate is the better word to really use on that occasion. Free kick for Arsenal. Trossard's still down here at the moment, which is another worry for Mikel Arteta. Can't lose another attacking player. He's got Raheem Sterling on the bench if he needs him. Looks like he's just holding his Achilles here at the moment. Trossard. He kind of clipped with a standing leg by Bruno Guimaraes. Doesn't need any treatment. It is helped back to his feet by Martin Odegaard. Just a bit of a nasty one. A bit of a sore one for Leandro Trossard. Trying to run it off at the moment as Newcastle get ready to take this free kick. Sorry, Arsenal take this free kick. Apologies. It will be David Raya that will send it long down the left flank. One for Lewis Skelly to chase, but Trippier sees it all the way. But first to nip in was Rice, trying to go over the 1-2. Well defended by Fabian Schär. Good to get it away. Oh, he's caught out here. And he tries to beat the keeper. Oh, it goes wide. Oh, my goodness me. Arsenal are all over the place there. William Saliba gets far too comfortable, sees Isak coming, but hasn't got a clue that Anthony Gordon's right behind him. He nips it away, Gordon, sees Raya off his line, and he just tries to finish it audaciously from about 30 yards, and it was always curling away from goal. But if that had found the back of the net, that really would have been the icing on top of the cake for Newcastle. Here come Arsenal to respond though. Trossard, well charged down by Trippier. Will be a corner though. The first good chance of the half goes the way of the home side. Again, it just seems like Arsenal, their wide players just have no space when they come inside. So another corner for Arsenal. They know how to score from corners. Been a couple of games since they did, but still have that prowess from set pieces. Rice with the right-footed delivery. Flicked away. I think it was Dubravka who got a hand to it at the back post. Nwaneri there to recycle it back in. Whips it back to the back post and headed behind by Murphy for another Arsenal corner. One thing about Newcastle, they don't shy away from getting everybody back to help defensively. Put all their bodies on the line. They defend as a team. Rice to deliver again. Deep to the back post, but over the head of everyone in the box and behind for a Newcastle goal kick. See that audacious effort. I mean, William Saliba, I said he struggled against Gordon all night, and it's another example of it. How good a chance it was. See his manager there telling his team to calm down. But William Saliba does the exact opposite, panics, and Raya was diving, and he had no chance of getting to that one, David Raya. And was sure happy to see the ball go the right side of the post from his point of view. Those nerves have always been evident tonight from Arsenal. I said it from the very first minutes when Newcastle were intensely pressing them. Oh, they've given it away again here! And that's surely game, set, match for Newcastle United. Arsenal playing out of the back, pressed on the edge of their own box. And Anthony Gordon does to them like Arsenal did to Manchester City on Sunday. And Arsenal are surely dead and buried here in this Carabao Cup semi-final. History comes back to haunt Arsenal again, and this stadium is most certainly their Achilles heel. They cannot find a way to get joy out of Newcastle. Arsenal have been bullied tonight, and Anthony Gordon has been all over them all night, and he has got his goal and has got Newcastle's second on the night and their fourth in the tie. Newcastle 2, Arsenal 0, Newcastle 4-0 up on aggregate. Incredible stuff. And that is surely that. Not even the most optimistic of Arsenal fans will believe that they can come back into this one. I'm sure not many thought at half-time that there was a chance that they could get back into this game, but you never know. But when you play like you have tonight, it's been an absolute sensational night for Newcastle, but an absolute horror show for Arsenal. And that's surely that. It's gotta be. And those Newcastle fans, they believe, and who can blame them? 4-0 up on aggregate. If you can't celebrate being 4 goals up in a two-legged tie with less than a half of football to go, when can you celebrate? When do you believe? But Newcastle have outclassed Arsenal in both semi-finals, both legs of this semi-final. And there's no doubting the fact that Newcastle, come the end of the 90 minutes, should deserve to go to Wembley. Arsenal needed the next goal. They haven't got any goals in the tie so far. They are struggling beyond belief. And Newcastle are practically comfortably strolling up Easy Street at the minute. This is exactly panning out exactly the way Eddie Howe, Jason Tyndall, the whole Newcastle staff and squad and fans would have wanted, and here they want more. Although this one's going to be pulled back. It's Isak running behind for an Arsenal free kick for an offside. Wow. Just wow. They've just been absolutely sensational. Newcastle, they've won 4 of their last 7 meetings with Arsenal in all competitions. Might just be turning into 5 out of 8 here this evening. They have outclassed, outrun, outfought, outmuscled, outperformed Arsenal in all areas tonight. And their commitment to the cause is questioned by none, is bettered by none. They've been absolutely sensational. And a stat that you will remember, 4 of their last 7 meetings Newcastle have won against Arsenal. That's as many as they had in their previous 45 against the Gunners. They've never beaten Arsenal in 3 different matches in a single campaign before. I think we might be seeing that coming true tonight for the very first time in Newcastle's history. Well, coming into tonight, I mean, all these stats are immaterial now, but we still have a great game to watch, but surely the contest is over. Maybe Arsenal will fight to the death. They will continue to fight, but whether they will win that fight is, again, anybody's guess. I think a lot of people would guess that Arsenal might be losing this one. Well, Newcastle have won their last 7 home games in the League Cup, keeping 5 clean sheets in those games, and have conceded just 2 goals on that run. Arsenal need to score 4 without conceding again to have a chance of knocking Newcastle out. That would only bring them to extra time. They need to score 5 unanswered goals in the next 35 minutes, Arsenal, to win this tie outright. 4 unanswered goals to bring it to extra time. It's just on the verges of impossibility is the best way you can describe it. Here's Ødegaard into the box, chested down by Havertz, but awful first touch by Havertz there, and Guimaraes tries to spin away from Partey. The Arsenal midfielder bringing down the Newcastle captain. Tonali was having a quick conversation with the referee, maybe a yellow card coming out there for Partey, but the referee saw no issue, just a free kick. Well, Arsenal have lost just 1 of their last 10 away games in the League Cup. Won 5, drawn 4. They've kept 8 clean sheets in that run, but have conceded at least 3 goals in the other 2. A 5-5 against Liverpool and a 3-1 against West Ham. There's Arsenal ready some changes as well. It's Newcastle bobbling ball forward. Oof. Could have caught Raya out, but it didn't. Raya tries to go for the audacious one. Here's Havertz in behind. Decent first touch, brought down there. No foul, said the referee. Havertz went down under his own volition there, says the referee Simon Hooper, which Kai Havertz can't really believe. Lovely ball by Raya. Decent first touch, takes it away for Lewis Hall. I mean, I don't know what Kai Havertz is actually advocating for there. He shoves into Lewis Hall and then loses his balance. Lewis Hall does absolutely nothing wrong there. That's just holds his ground. Very good defending. Frustration maybe creeping in to Arsenal at the minute. I think it creeped in inside the first 20 minutes. On ball by Dubravka. Again, Arsenal win it back there in the middle. But Nwaneri stolen away from him. Gordon, now to Isak. Arsenal have to worry out here. Oh, Isak tried to go for the little tap and kind of toe poke it towards the goal. Yeah, the tap in field and then just a simple effort. Caught well by David Raya, straight in front of him. Could have caused more problem. One thing Arsenal don't want this to become is embarrassing. With so much time left, with such a deficit not only on the night but on aggregate. This could come a real embarrassing semi-final defeat for them if they don't kind of gather themselves as one. Airy tried to cross it, well defended, and Tonali there. That had just gone behind from Sandro Tonali. So a cheap corner given away there by Arsenal, or by Newcastle for Arsenal. He just crossed the byline. There's a corner. As Arsenal ready some changes. So Martin Odegaard's coming off, and Leandro Trossard is going to be joining him. And coming on is going to be Raheem Sterling and Mikel Merino. So Merino and Sterling on, and Trossard and Odegaard off for Arsenal. Is that a sign of feeling that this game's gone, this tie's gone? Or is it really a genuine attempt at changing this game? Corner for Arsenal, right hand side. Left footed delivery, headed behind at the near post for another corner by Jacob Murphy. So another corner here. Left footed, whipped deep. Punched away by Dubravka, flicked away by Byrne, brought down by Guimaraes, and Isak in a foot race here with Rice. Foot race to keep it in play. He does keep it in play, but Declan Rice there sees it out for a Newcastle throw-in. Well, Arsenal have nothing to really lose now. They've no game for 10 days. They have a full 10 days of rest after this game tonight. No FA Cup action after they were knocked out by Manchester United in the third round on penalties. So they've got a free weekend, a free midweek next week, of course, after booking their place in the last 16 of the Champions League. So they have a free midweek as well. The next back in action, Arsenal, when they head to Leicester on the Saturday lunchtime kickoff in 10 days' time. Newcastle, of course, do have a FA Cup tie. They head to Birmingham at the weekend. It's a late kickoff on Saturday evening at St Andrews. Here's Nwaneri for Arsenal into the box. A lovely delivery, but no one there to try and head it in. And that's the point Ethan Nwaneri's making. Why is no one in there? Fabulous play by Nwaneri. Gets it onto his right, takes it past his man, and he just stands it up right across the 6-yard box. Dubravka's is chasing it, but no one in there anticipating it from Arsenal's point of view. And another good opportunity goes completely by the wayside for Arsenal. Partey. Timber. Down the right hand side. Comes Ethan Nwaneri again. Plays it infield to Timber. Not able to keep the momentum or the flow at the minute, Arsenal. Ball out to Lewis Skelly. Partey. Again, almost caught on the ball by Tonali as he gets it back to Gabriel. Looking for options. Gabriel down the left side now to Sterling. Sterling up against Trippier. Of course, former international teammates. Gabriel to deliver. Up in the air from Havertz, but goes all the way out to the far right hand side for an Arsenal throw. Timber takes quickly. Merino. 26 minutes of the 90 remain. And given away by Havertz there, and Newcastle want to spring a counter. Anthony Gordon on the move again. He's got Havertz and Saliba in the vicinity. But he's settled and controlled there, Gordon. And he just recycles it back to his defence. Just keep the ball here for Newcastle. Trippier. Lays it across to Guimaraes. Murphy trying to make a run, but Guimaraes' ball too straight, that one. Too far ahead of Jacob Murphy. Goal kick. Timber into the middle. Nwaneri takes it. Wins a free kick there as he was slightly nudged by Sandro Tonali. Gabriel. Down the left to Sterling. Overlapping is Lewis Skelly. Trying to weave his way through into the box. And Trippier gets the block in, which will go behind for the Arsenal corner. No shortage of corners again tonight for Arsenal. This will be their 9th corner of the evening. But Newcastle have faced 166 corners this season and have conceded from just one. Another corner delivered deep to the back post. Away by Byrne. Still alive with Nwaneri. Marino. Timber trying to keep it alive. Here's Gabriel, right side of the box, and wins another corner. This time off Dan Byrne. Well, the Newcastle fans getting out the antagonising songbook at the moment. You're going to cry in a minute is ringing around St James's Park. A bit tongue-in-cheek. Another Arsenal corner then. This time on the right side. Left-footed delivery, right on the keeper. Punched away again. Kept alive by Sterling. In the box is Partey, but nicely stopped by Murphy, who sends Isak on a run. Isak can't get his way past Rice again. Will be a throw-in to Newcastle, though, down the left side in their own half. Well, if we really take into context what this might mean tonight, you know, it's incredible what we're witnessing in front of our eyes, because this is a Newcastle side who, before Eddie Howe's reign, before Eddie Howe came into this club, they had reached one League Cup final in their history. One League Cup final in their history. They obviously lost that League Cup final, but it looks like, barring any mad kind of comeback at this late stage, a miracle really. Eddie Howe will have brought them to more League Cup finals in 3 years than the club had ever in their history before him. It's quite incredible to even just to think about that in context. You know, oh, Isak's on the run here. William Saliba does just enough to deal with the situation there as the ball went right into no man's land, into space where no one really was, and Newcastle believed in the attack, but William Saliba dealt with the situation. But really, break that down and think about it. That Eddie Howe will have brought this side to 2 League Cup finals in 3 years, when the club had been to 1 in their history before he arrived, and that was back in the 1970s. It's just remarkable. Nwaneri blocked off by Gordon, but it comes back to Partey now. Nwaneri into Partey again. It's not a bit of a zip about Arsenal's passing, just a bit laboured in their passing. Too much time on the ball. Newcastle are just comfortable at sitting in shape and stepping in the right moments. When Arsenal play those balls into the central areas, they're just happy to get it back and see Arsenal out. That's a nice ball by Marino into the flank there for Havertz, but he's beaten off the ball by Byrne. Hall was beaten off the ball by Marino, and Nwaneri takes it away down the right side. Gets past Gordon. Ethan Nwaneri driving into the box. Well tracked by Anthony Gordon, who says, "You shall not pass." And that will be a goal kick to Newcastle United. Sensational defending there. Well, only against 3 sides have Arsenal failed to score in 3 different games in a single season this century. Liverpool in the 21-22 season, Chelsea in the 13-14 season, and Manchester United in the 04-05 season. If Arsenal don't score this evening, they will have failed to score in 3 different games against Newcastle, making him only the 4th side to do that against Arsenal in the 21st century, in 25 years. Of course, they still have one more meeting. Of course, it's not the end of them this season. They face each other again in the Premier League in May, on matchday 37 at the Emirates on the 18th of May. That will be a big one. What could that be for their seasons? Could Arsenal be still battling for the title at that point of the campaign with 2 games to go? Or what will Newcastle be up to? Will they be battling for Europe come that point? Who knows? But if you're to really come into this game tonight, as Dubravka is getting a bit of treatment, so there is a stoppage in play. Issue seems to have continued from the first half for Martin Dubravka. But if you're to really contextualise this game, coming into tonight, Arsenal were the team in form. Arsenal were the team, yes, with a deficit, but they were the team that maybe had the wind in their sails. Newcastle stumbled a little bit, lost their last 2 home games in the league, maybe fallen a little below what their standards were a couple of weeks ago in recent games, and maybe could have come into this one knowing, right, if we concede early, there might be an issue. But they came into this game tonight, Newcastle, with breathing with confidence, absolutely intent in what they wanted to do. They were certain on their task. Their game plan was to completely suffocate Arsenal early, and it worked to a T. They got a goal, albeit disallowed after a couple of minutes check by VAR, narrowly offside, but that little goal, even though it was disallowed, gives Newcastle the early momentum. As Arsenal come forward here, Nwaneri has the shot deflected, but straight into the hands of Dubravka, comfortably there for Newcastle. But it's just how they started this game, completely kind of evaporated all that talk before the game of maybe Arsenal are the team in form, maybe Arsenal have the benefit of coming into this one off what has been a good run, 5 wins in the last 6 games. 5 wins out of 7 since they lost to Newcastle in the first leg. They lost to Manchester United 3 days later as well in the FA Cup. Of course, back-to-back defeats for Arsenal in the cup competitions, but obviously unbeaten since that. So they could have felt they were coming into this one in good form and a good chance, but the way Newcastle started this game, their intensity from the first whistle, the really physical, high tempo, tough battle that we've seen from those first 20 minutes just set the tone for the night, that Newcastle weren't here to cower and fear and to try and hold on to a 2-goal lead. They were here to take it to Arsenal, and Eddie Howe said that before the game. That was their intention, and their intentions have come out with probably the best rewards at this minute in time, because they're leading Arsenal by 2 goals, and they're comfortably going to find themselves in a Carabao Cup final for the second time in 3 seasons. It's just remarkable stuff. Absolutely remarkable stuff. Botman there, shielding well against Havertz. Will be another Newcastle throw. 15 minutes of the 90 to go. Newcastle leading by 2. Is there room for more? Arsenal still trying to find something, any sort of joy from the box, but Newcastle so resolute in their defending, are giving them no space, and Gordon wanted to nip in behind again there. Almost got a bit of joy. As Arsenal come into the box here with Rice. Again, not giving the space or time. Well, it's not just been the fact of disappointment in results this season. Mikel Arteta made it very clear in his press conference for this game this evening, yesterday of course, that Arsenal felt a bit disappointed by the fact they didn't make any signings in the January window, and the fact that for how many windows on a row now Arsenal are still looking for that illustrious striker that beats them, that kind of they never seem to have found a solution to that problem of having that striker. And I'm not saying that this Carabao Cup semi-final overall has come down to that fact, but you think about the 2 games. You know, we go back to the first leg. They lost 2-0 at home, but they had 23 shots in that game, 6 big chances, 70% possession, 11 corners, but only 3 shots on target. 10 shots off target that night from their 23 shots. The inaccuracy in front of goal was all for there for all to see. You know, and then you bring it into tonight, and you look at the stats from tonight's game. Yes, they've had less shots than Newcastle, but not many less. 9-8 in Newcastle's favour. But again, only 2 of those 8 shots have been on target tonight. And, you know, I'm not saying it's the sole reason, but you think if they had found the net from Martin Odegaard's shot, or even in the first leg, when, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Martinelli that hit the post as well, you think if one of those chances had went in, how different this tie could have unfolded. And if they had that clinical striker in the big moments, Arsenal, could it have changed the dynamics? Now, of course, it's all superficial, this argument, but if you really bring it deep down, how many transfer windows, how many of the last 2 seasons have Arsenal been talking about the need for a clinical, top-class striker to bring them to maybe the next level? And there's not many more levels that Arsenal can go up, but if you get that clinical 20-goal-a-season striker, then you are really in business of being one of the best teams in the world, because they have a strong defence, they've got a really good midfield. It's just about at the top end of the pitch when they're not reliable at times, and that's where the problems come for Arsenal. It's not all the problems, but it's a lot of them. as Newcastle make changes here. Arsenal have made more changes, by the way. Ricardo Calafiori and Jorginho have come on to replace Jurriën Timber and Thomas Partey. So Arsenal have made 5 changes out of a possible 5 tonight. And Newcastle made a double change there. Joe Willock and Emil Kraft have just entered the field of play, and they are replacing Jacob Murphy and Sven Botman. Jacob Murphy, who scored the opening goal tonight and really ignited this place after 19 minutes to further Newcastle's advantage on aggregate and open the scoring inside this wonderful arena here this evening. They've had a night to remember, a night that will live long in the memory of those Newcastle fans. They remember the night against Southampton, of course, but this night surely will beat it. The way they toppled and destroyed Arsenal. That will live long in the memory of all of these fans in black and white, part of the Toon Army that fights on in this competition and has one more step to try and reach that top step of the Wembley Arch, under the Wembley Arch. And maybe just one more step to try and lift the trophy. And surely that would solidify Eddie Howe in Newcastle folklore if he becomes the man that ends the trophy drought. Just see a bit of a push there by Dan Burn in the box on Havertz. It looked a bit soft, to be fair. I mean, yeah, there's nothing in that. That's shocking. Ryan, thank you very much for joining us in the chat. Says thank you for your coverage. Hello from Australia. Well, what time is it in Australia over there? I would say about early in the morning, at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning over in Australia. Great to have you with us, Ryan. Thank you so much for joining us for this Carabao Cup semi-final. Thanks everybody for joining us for this Carabao Cup semi-final. Still 9 minutes to go of normal time. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. And don't forget, we've one more semi-final to come. We need to see who will play at Newcastle in that final. Will it be a battle of two teams desperate for a trophy, or will it be a battle of old, of the 90s, where Newcastle and Liverpool battled in the 90s? Really, some classic games between those two clubs over the years. Liverpool a chance to retain their trophy, which they can claim as their own because they've won it the most times out of any English side. 10 times Liverpool have won the trophy. Can they get to another final and a chance to make it 11 and a first final under Arne Slot? We'll see if they can overturn a 1-goal deficit tomorrow night. Liverpool against Tottenham at Anfield tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Looking forward to that one. Tomorrow evening, we've cup action for what I would believe is 5 days in a row. Tonight, tomorrow night is the Carabao Cup semi-finals. Then Friday, Saturday and Sunday here on LFS we will have FA Cup 4th round action for you as well. Manchester United take on Leicester Friday night at Old Trafford. We then head to Leyton Orient taking on Manchester City Saturday lunchtime. That is yet to be confirmed, but I'm fairly certain that will be the game that we'll be doing on Saturday. And then on Sunday we will take you to Plymouth at Home Park, where Plymouth take on Liverpool Sunday at 3 o'clock as well. So lots of cup football for you to enjoy over the next couple of days. As Raheem Sterling gets himself a yellow card there for a challenge as Newcastle take that free kick and they keep it up the field here. Isak not able to find a way through as Arsenal want to come on the break, but Havertz's pass is blocked and Sterling takes a little tumble in the process as well. As here comes Willock. Newcastle haven't given up on finding another goal in this one. As Bruno Guimaraes tries to go for the no-look. Kept in there by Willock. Thought that one had gone behind. It has now gone behind. Goal kick. Ryan says 7:45 a.m. Jesus. Never too early for the Arsenal. I'm sure it's not a great morning for you over in Australia, if you're an Arsenal fan. Maybe a morning to forget for you, Ryan. Hopefully you have a better rest of your day, let's just say, over in Australia. Great to have you with us this evening. Here's Sterling. just not able to find a way through. Joe Willock, alert, watching him like a hawk. Put the ball out of play for an Arsenal throw. Just over 5 minutes of the game to go before this place will absolutely erupt. Lovely touch by Tonali. They're on the move again, Newcastle on the break. Tonali taken out. The referee plays advantage. Switch ball coming. Brought down by Willock, but not able to take the touch, Joe Willock. And Lewis Skelly gets it back to his keeper. And every time Newcastle come forward, they do look a threat on the counter. They have all night. Looked an absolute massive threat on the counter-attack. Here's Nwaneri trying to find Sterling. Played off to Calafiori, but again Newcastle getting in the tussle, getting in the mix. We'll give it away cheaply here. Calafiori rides a challenge, finds it to Havertz, who shoots. Well charged down by Trippier again. And Bruno Guimaraes taken out there by Declan Rice, who claims he got all ball. But Bruno Guimaraes is going to win Newcastle a free kick. And he's got the crowd up again, gesturing to the crowd. Guimaraes there. See it again. He gets none of the ball there, Declan Rice. I don't know what he's claiming that he got all ball. He got absolutely none of the ball there. There's no question. Definitely a free kick. Very frustrating night for those Arsenal players. The Arsenal fans as a whole up in the gods, up in the far stand here at St James's Park. I'm sure that will be a very long trip back to North London for those Arsenal fans. More changes for Newcastle here. Alexander Isak isn't going to get a chance to score for a third successive time against Arsenal. And Sandro Tonali is also going to be leaving the field alongside Alexander Isak. And they're going to be replaced by... I'll let the graphics tell me. Well, Callum Wilson is certainly one of them. He's coming back from injury, of course. Callum Wilson, cheered back by the crowd. And Sean Longstaff the other. So Longstaff and Wilson replacing Tonali and Isak for the home side. As I said, Birmingham away next for Newcastle in the FA Cup. They then got a tough run of fixtures in their next 3 Premier League games. They head to Manchester City, host Nottingham Forest, and then travel to Liverpool in the next 3 Prem games before the end of February. And then they have a game in the build-up to what would be the final when they're a trip to London as they take on West Ham on the 10th of March. Before, of course, that trip to Wembley on the 16th. Obviously, they'll have to reschedule that Crystal Palace game. They win it back here. Guimaraes dragging it wide. As I said, for Arsenal, no FA Cup action for the weekend for them. No midweek action in the Champions League for them either. So they have a free next 9 days, 10 days time. They're in action lunchtime Saturday week when they head to Leicester. Then a London derby at the Emirates as they take on West Ham a week later. And then a trip to Nottingham Forest, followed by Manchester United away. And then Chelsea at home coming on the weekend of the Carabao Cup final, which we know now will not be postponed and will not be rescheduled because Arsenal will fulfil that commitment. Lovely football by Arsenal in around the edge of the box. Lewis Skelly, Rice is surely offside here, and he hits the post anyway. As K Sarah being sung around St James's Park, of course, the anthem for any team that is anticipating a little trip to Wembley. K Sarah, what will be, will be. We're going to Wembley. You didn't really need me to sing that, but, you know, commentary's meant to be adding to the experience. Corner here for Arsenal. I mean, how many's that now? 12? 12 corners for the Gunners tonight. Into the last minute of the 90. I mean, there's going to be no late spoilers. I might spoil the clean sheet, but nothing more than that. Rice with the delivery. Headed over the bar by Miles Lewis-Skelly, who ballooned it behind. Good chance, but again, not taken. I mean, how many times are we going to say that about Arsenal? Well, they have good chances, but they're just not taking them. This Carabao Cup semi-final has really highlighted Arsenal's biggest weakness, and that's being clinical. In big key moments, in clutch moments, they just can't find the back of the net. 90 minutes are up, and just 4 more will be added on. 1 for each goal that Newcastle have scored in this semi-final tie. 2 tonight, 2 in North London, and they're going to be heading to their second final under Eddie Howe, and another trip to Wembley to come. The Olays are out now. They're going through the classic kind of, not songbook, but the classic kind of audio you hear from a big cup game when you're cruising against top opposition. The 5th and final change for Newcastle is going to be Bruno Guimaraes, their captain, serenaded off the pitch by the crowd, and he's going to be replaced by, it looks like Lewis Miley is the one coming on. It is. So Miley on for Guimaraes. But I've got to say, I spent a lot of the second half talking about Arsenal's weaknesses, about how Arsenal haven't really been at it. And over this this semi-final, how their kind of pressure that's been on them, their biggest kind of criticisms have been exposed in the semi-final. But there's no doubting the fact that in this semi-final, both first and second legs, that Newcastle have been the better team, that Newcastle have deserved to go to the final. There's no question that. No one can argue the contrary to that. No doubt about it. There's a yellow card's come out here. I think Anthony Gordon might be the recipient of that yellow card. I mean, it's not a massive issue, no matter who got the yellow card, as the clock is ticking down, and I'm sure goosebumps will be going around that stadium when that final whistle goes. I am sure about that. Let's get all the kind of academic stuff done first. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. Just hit 25,000 and we want more and more. We want more of you to join us, and it's great to have you all with us tonight on what will be a big night for Newcastle. And tomorrow night, don't forget Liverpool-Tottenham, the second semi-final, second leg that we're witnessing this week, as Liverpool look to overcome a 1-goal deficit against Spurs. Spurs looking to build upon that win at the weekend, and they're leading Liverpool by 1-0 heading into that second leg tomorrow night. Last minute of the 94, and Newcastle have a corner to defend. So one more corner for Arsenal, one more chance for them to get on the score sheet, surely. But one more corner, one more opportunity, one more moment for Newcastle to defend. Surely. Left-footed delivery, long whipped effort, and comfortably grabbed by Martin Dubravka. Fabulous. This'll be this. 30 yards, less than 30 seconds to go. I'm anticipating an absolute roar when this final whistle goes. Get yourself ready for it. Ball in behind by Havertz. Havertz held off well, lots of battling, and it will be a free kick to Newcastle anyway. Havertz penalised. This will be the last kick of the game, surely, from this free kick. There's no kick to take. It's all over. Newcastle United, for only the third time in their history, their second under Eddie Howe's managerialship, they are into another League Cup final. This time they've put Arsenal to the sword, and this time they want to go one better. Manchester United beat them at Wembley 2 years ago. They want to get one better than they did that time, and they want to go and lift this trophy for the very first time. Incredible night for Newcastle. 2-0 on the night, 4-0 on aggregate. No doubting they were the better side over the two legs. Arsenal were pretty hopeless, but that doesn't take anything away from Newcastle, who were top class, top quality, and absolutely sensational. Well deserving of a place in the Carabao Cup final for 2025. Their 70-year wait of a trophy might just be one step closer to coming to an end. If Eddie Howe makes that drought come to an end, no doubting he will be immortalised at this football club. Newcastle United are into another League Cup final. Incredible stuff. There you are. That's it. Que sera, sera is the song of choice around this stadium, as it was 2 years ago when they knocked out Southampton and knew they were going to face Manchester United. They will face either Liverpool or Tottenham in the final. The date, the time, the location is set. What will the result be for Newcastle this time around? Because Eddie Howe and his fabulous Magpies are into the Carabao Cup final. Wow, that's it. This crowd will party long into the night, and it will be a great night never to forget for those Newcastle fans, for the Toon Army. They will remember this one for years to come. A night to forget for Arsenal, but it's Newcastle. It's their night. The perfect atmosphere, the perfect venue, the perfect stadium, the perfect everything for Newcastle tonight. Impeccable over both legs, keeping Arsenal out on both occasions. The fourth team to do that to Arsenal this century, keeping them out in 3 successive games. Just remarkable. Emotions riding high, as they should be. This is what this competition is all about. Sides that dream big, and they want to dream even bigger than just getting to a final. Newcastle, each one of those players and each one of those fans is hungry for this side to lift that trophy aloft. Wow, incredible. Incredible stuff. Congratulations to Newcastle, who we will see in the Carabao Cup final in a couple of weeks' time. On the 16th of March, save the date, Newcastle are into another Carabao Cup final. The second time in 3 seasons. Before Eddie Howe came into this club, they had been to 1 League Cup final. It's 2 in 3 seasons. It's just unbelievable. It's just incomprehensible how it's happened. But they've done it again. They've done the long walk, and they've got one more game to go. One more win to lifting a trophy and ending a 70-year wait. Right, that's it for tonight. Don't forget, and there's the promo for the final. But first, before that, we need to find out who Newcastle will face in the final. We'll find out tomorrow night. Liverpool or Tottenham. Who will it be? Tottenham have a 1-goal lead going into that game at Anfield tomorrow. But Liverpool are the holders. They will not want to give up their trophy without a fight. We'll see how Arne Slot's team do tomorrow night. Can they get to a first chance at a final? Can they get to a first final under Arne Slot? We'll find out tomorrow night. 8 o'clock kickoff at Anfield for that one. But tonight, the black and white of the Toon Army are heading to Wembley for the second time in 3 seasons. Congratulations to Newcastle. We'll see you under the Wembley Arch in a couple of weeks' time. From us, have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow night for another one, and to do it all over again, the night.